All right, the Detroit Lions keep getting bizarre news. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on this. I need help figuring this out. Let me give you a couple, Craig. This is not the whole list. This is just a few to get us going a little bit. Here's bizarre news. Some bizarre news. Frank Ragnow. Hey, I'm coming back. Sweet. Problem is I'm injured. Okay. Josh Pascal. Are you fine? Are you good? Levi Onwuzurike. Those guys have both kind of started their windows, but the window's passed. So it's like they're not coming back. Terrion Arnold goes out, injured his shoulder. He's going to be out for the year. Nope. Second opinion. He's fine. Comes back 2 weeks later. Now he's out for the year. Oh, but
same shoulder, right?
Same shoulder. Marcus Davenport. Marcus Davenport injured in week 2, listed with a shoulder, then a chest, then a shoulder again, missed 2.5 months, and then has a pec strain, shoulder injury. Now he's questionable, may not play. And then Kirby Joseph.
Back to practice.
Couldn't even walk. Remember that one game? And then 2 plays later, he's out there playing, and then he's out for 6 weeks. And then it's talking about cartilage, arthritis, career could be in jeopardy. He's coming back, says he's going to play. Dan Campbell's like, I really don't know about it. So, Craig, is this a medical staff issue? Is this just coincidence? Is this Lions playing coy with injuries, right? You can't really tell the truth, or it's like, I don't know why we can't. What is your theory on this, some bizarre injury stuff that's happened this year?
Yeah. I actually do. Can I start with what I don't think it is?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that we're playing coy with injuries. I don't think that's it. I think most of them can kind of be explained, and I don't think Dan Campbell is the kind of guy who plays coy with anything, if I'm being completely honest. And also, when someone gets hurt, you just can say they can be out for a while. If you're not putting them on IR, even if you are, it doesn't matter. You don't need to say that. So I don't think it's playing coy with injuries. I think there's some weird things that are happening. I will be honest. I remember, what was it, 2 years ago? Remember, we completely overhauled both our medical staff and our physical rehabilitation staff.
Yeah.
We brought in some specialist guy that does rehab in Arizona, has his own center out there, and we brought him in, and that was for the injury to get people back, right? But then there was another person that we brought in that was supposed to prevent injuries. And we're like, awesome. The Lions are finally not going to get hurt. But it's not happening. We just keep getting hurt. So I think some of it's freak injuries. You have to look at the fact. Now, this year we are getting some offensive injuries, right? The vast majority of the serious injuries are happening on what side of the ball?
Defense. And
we basically ask every single one of our defenders to be a human wrecking ball.
Yep.
On every single play. Yep. Especially our defensive backs. The amount of violent collisions that Brian Branch is in is staggering. The amount of violent collisions, and Arnold's been hurt, so every time he's in one, I'm like, oh, right, it's staggering. Amik Robertson, whoever's playing corner, whoever's playing safety, it feels like they are in these train wrecks multiple times every game. I do think some of it is the way we play defense. Do you agree with me on that, or what is your thought? I'll flip the question back around.
Yeah, I don't know the end. I don't know what you do here, because it's football, it's physicality, but I am fully on board with, and maybe I would just be a terrible coach and my team would go 0-17, but it's like, what are ways that we can not hurt ourselves? Meaning, the Brock Wright's a perfect example. We're down a tight end. You are our only tight end. You get a first down. Sweet, man. 11 yards, get out of bounds. Can you just destroy yourself and get up 2 more yards? Yes, you could. But get out of bounds. So what's he do? He tries to get in. The guy just torpedoes him. He lands on his neck. And now it's like he's got like a torn trachea. And it's like, look,
what?
Like, yeah. There's
That's
one.
not real. Was
That's
he in a plane wreck? Seriously. He was in a 747 that went down. Who tears a trachea?
We got to just stop with this. So same thing defensively. Okay. Do we go to a shell coverage to keep guys healthy? Do we keep Brian Branch back? Right? Like, these are things, like real conversations of, all right, we have to stay healthy. And at the same time, like I said, maybe that would just be terrible, because we're soft, we're coaching to not get hurt. And that was just such a baloney thing. Remember in middle school or whatever, coaches be like, well, if you try not to get hurt, that's when you get hurt.
That's when you get hurt.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
because I feel like, yeah, go ahead.
You know how else you can get hurt? You can get hurt by making your entire body a missile, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what Brian Branch specializes in. And I think a lot of our corners do. You know how you can get hurt is not form tackling. And do you know who's not getting hurt right now and who has been pretty healthy throughout the years? Jack Campbell. Alex Anzalone, I understand he broke his forearm. Alex Anzalone did, and that was a freak accident. Like, and it was,
that's fine.
like, I remember that was Hutchinson broke his leg. That was a freak accident.
Yes.
But the guys who are the most technically sound are the ones who generally don't get hurt. It's the ones who go in and just go human torpedo, right? Kamikaze on this thing in order to end it. Those are the guys who have the brain injuries. Those are the guys who are getting separated shoulders. Those are the guys who are hurting, like, just random things. And yes, I do think there has to be a level of, and it goes back to the same thing. You want to go back to I hate talking about this, hate talking about middle school, high school football like we know the NFL. We don't, right? Like we don't know, and it can't compare. I do remember coaches yelling, as you're running on the sideline, get out of bounds. Like, instead of taking the hit, did you see Jackson Dart get just blasted last night going out of bounds? Like, feet overhead.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who he was just trying to get an extra yard. He had the first down. It didn't matter. And he just gets absolutely obliterated. And you're like, hey, good job. Don't ever do that again. That's stupid, because it's more important for you to be on the field than for you to get an extra, 2 feet.
And
or to stop 2 feet.
And that is what last year against the Commanders, what's his name was doing? Jaden Daniels kept doing that. And I'm like, just kill him. And then he would almost go backwards. He'd get 100%. So let us know in the comments your thoughts on the injuries, the freak injuries. Do you play that? Now, here's some other things for you. We're playing the Cowboys on Thursday. The Cowboys have a staggeringly good record on Thursday, whether it's Thanksgiving or when they play on Thursday. Don't love that. And this is not just a negative. It's just kind of a fun. I don't know if this fun's the right word, but it's just like, this has been a week or a month if you're a Lions fan. Craig Reynolds, we lose him. We covered that. Ben Johnson just on track for Coach of the Year. Bears #1 seed. You're just like, what are we doing? Taylor Decker, Glasgow, Penei Sewell, they all did not practice. Could be a rest thing. Could be I don't know.
They've been doing that like for the last month.
We go 1-7 last week in the rooting guide. We want this team to win, whatever. Here's 8 games, and this is what we need. 1 game went our way. The other teams won. And what else? I got one more for you. That's it. I think that's it. Are we just over dramatic with this because we've had such a sweet 2.5 years, or does it feel a little different right now? What are your thoughts?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, we are over dramatic, but it is not because of the last 2.5 years. I think we are over dramatic because of the previous 250 years, right? Because of the previous 25 years, whatever you want to call it, from 1956 onward. I think that's why or 57, whenever we won the last championship. That's why I think we're over dramatic, because everything was going wrong for our franchise for so long. And then all of a sudden we have success. We have success. We get to taste it. We get to taste what that success feels like. And now everybody thinks the window's already closed.
Yep.
And we're just reverting back to what we used to be. And oh no, was it Ben Johnson? And it's not Dan Campbell. And you know what? He's got to figure it out.
That's right.
He's got to figure it out. Like, I'm trying to remember the year after the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, or at least were one of the best records. The next year, everything fell apart because they lost their coordinators. And by the way, they're dealing with it again, right? They lost their offensive coordinator. How's their offense look? Like, teams go through growing pains where they need to learn how to do things. Dan Campbell's first offensive coordinator was a horrible hire. Terrible. He learned from his mistake with Ben Johnson. And then it looks like maybe he didn't. Right. And so, like, transitions happen. I would rather go 1-7 in our rooting guide in week 12 or week 13 or whatever. It was what week was it?
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
I would rather go. Is it bad that I'm just trying to think of what's my fantasy football record? I think it was week 13, right? So, like, I would rather go 1-7 in week 13 than week 18, the final week of the season. Like,
Yep.
let's see what happens later. Those are the kind of things. Again, all right, I'm talking too much. It's the same thing with the Red Sox when they beat the Yankees. They were down 0-3, and when they won 4 in a row against the Yankees, you're like, of course these guys are going to win the World Series, because they needed something so crazy, such a crazy comeback series story that nobody was thinking about the curse. I sometimes think, I mean, it was similar with Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. They're never going to get over the hump. And then they get over the hump, and then they're never going to win in the playoffs. Then they win in the playoffs. I think it's the same. You almost have to earn your stripes with the Lions. Let's not freak out. This is just part of the process. Just part of the process.
And I do think it was a lot to do with these last. We were really spoiled with these last few years, and so what happens is everything was so awesome, and then we kind of got to the mountaintop, and there really was no way to go but down, because we didn't change. We went to the NFC Championship, didn't change anything. Everybody, let's run it back. Number 1 seed, like we're just hitting these, and it was like there was really only way to go down, or we win the Super Bowl, or we go undefeated up until this point and win the Super Bowl. Then I think we'd all be like, all right, let's go. We're doing our thing. But I mean, we were beating teams 52-7, 52-14. And it was just the time of our lives. And it's like, okay, that was awesome. And we did catch fire. It was a really good team, really well coached, and we caught fire a little bit. It was just kind of almost like this perfect storm. And we all knew it. But what it is tough when you kind of get back to real life of the NFL, and here we are with 7-4 or whatever, and it feels worse than that. And you go back and look at the schedule, and it's like, oh, this is why it feels weird. We barely beat this team. We had a bye, come back, lose, barely beat this team, lose. And that's what it's been for the last 5 weeks, is either barely beating a bad team or losing. And so I get it. It just feels like we need a win here. It just doesn't, we haven't seen a good football game I guess would have been Washington a few weeks ago. And then before that, it was Tampa. So it's like, we've had 2 good games before that. Every game was just, man, they weren't even close. We're controlling the games to the end. So yeah, this is a different season.
I mean, Chris, that's not the NFL, right?
Right.
Like, that's what you expect Michigan to do when they're playing Purdue. Right. Or when they're playing Central Michigan. That's not what you expect an NFL team to do to another NFL team. Naturally, you're going to get 1 or 2 of those a year, but that's not the expectation. When you look at really good teams all right, look at any team right now. Any team. They have an inexplicable loss or 2 or 3, and they have so many games where they look good, but also that they don't.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, if you asked everybody going into Sunday, what would 5 out of 10 people say is the best team in the NFL? They would say that probably the Rams.
Yep.
Right? Which that sucks to say. What did they do? They lost to the Panthers, who everybody's like, oh, they're not even for real. Like, they're 500 team. They stink. You know, and it's just, what are we doing? I think those are the crazy things where it's just like, the NFL is a league that just prides itself so much on parity that we have to remember going 15-2 is not normal. Going 10-7, 11-6 is normal. That's what good teams do. Look at the Ravens. Come on.
I'm always amazed at Bill Walsh, or I don't know. It's probably, but you say some of the legends or the coaches, and it's like, you look at their record and you would expect them to be 194-7. And it's like, they're a little bit above 500. Like, good is great 10-year run or whatever, right? It's just so hard to win in this league. So I just think,
and that was without a salary cap.
Yeah.
That was when the 49ers could pay for their rosters, and the Cowboys with Jimmy Johnson, and they still weren't winning 12, 13 games a year. Still weren't doing it.
And that's why I think you and I were saying the same thing. It's like, oh my gosh, we are just had a great run, and we're fine. Like we really are. We're back to just normal. This is what I always wanted, honestly. If I'm as a Lions fan, it's like, I'm not even want to win the Super Bowl. I just want to be in the mix come Thanksgiving. I mean, how many years? Those were the worst years when you go into Thanksgiving. You're going to be showcased, and you're 3-8. Yeah.
Yes.
And then you lose, and you're just thinking, the amount of times I thought, all right, we're 3-8 or whatever. If we could win this, like literally, I think if we win this game, if we win Thanksgiving, because it always feels like we're going to, even though we don't, but we then we lose, and you're just out of it. And yeah, so I always wanted, man, how fun would it be to be down the stretch playing for the playoffs? Would be, oh, that'd be so awesome. And we had those pockets a little bit. We had a couple things with Stafford,
11,
but
14.
those previous 10 years, because basically had the Barry Sanders era where we were just not old enough to really appreciate it. And Barry was great.
Yeah.
And then we went
And we'd always lose in the playoffs.
Yeah. Then that next 10 years with Matt Millen and the whole thing, and it was just terrible. So yeah,
yeah, it's been decade to decade. And here's the other thing too that I look at it with. Like, I remember thinking to myself, and I don't like the Steelers, but I remember just being like, what if we could be an organization like the Steelers?
Yep.
I mean, the Steelers go 10 and back with 16 games. They were 9-7, 10-6, made the playoffs every year, right? And then they would lose. And it's just like, yeah, that's frustrating. But how amazing would it be to make the playoffs every year and just to have a shot? And we got to experience that each of the last couple of years with the highs of it and the lows of it. And most NFL franchises don't get to say that. And so if we're a team that's just in the mix, Chris, growing up and even in your 20s, right? Even into your 30s, right? How many times were we already starting to watch games where you're like, do I want to win? Because that'll hurt our draft pick, because I know we have no chance of making the playoffs. And it's the first week of November. You know what I mean? Like, and now here we are. It's the first week of December, and we feel like we're in a must-win game in order to keep our playoff hopes alive. Great.
Love it. Sign me up for it. I love it. I'm watching. It's a big game. I love it. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't, but let us know your thoughts on this. We love all the comments, and we'll see all of you on the next one.
See ya.